Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Canopy growth. It's by request. Somebody asked me today, so I figured, hey, I haven't done a video on it in a while. The question came out of the chat room. Before I forget, in the link below, in the description below, there should be a link to the chat room if you're interested. We're there all day, every day, looking at this stuff. So this is a 5-minute chart, so it's kind of a fast-moving chart for faster traders. It's looking like it's developing a habit. If the internals are good, it rounds and then it spikes and then it gives it back. So if I were to guess, there should be a spike coming towards 1580 and then it might give it back. If it takes out this level, 16 and change, 16.2, then it might run fast higher. So I can't tell you how much higher until we zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to go from 5 minutes to 30-minute charts. I still can't tell you. 60-minute charts. Okay, we're starting to get more visibility. So I'm going to go to 120. All right, so consistent. These green lines I did probably on the last video, and look how pivotal this one still is. So what I'm going to do is, they're not even, so let's make them even first of all. 48, wherever it is. Let me see, did that ruin it? No, it's still perfect. And then I'll extend that out to 300 here. Okay, so you can still see a trigger. So I said if it takes out 1620, that's 1620. So I will put a trigger here, but probably the safer one would be to put it up here or even higher. No, actually up here, because this is a fade zone. In fact, I'm going to move it up a little bit. I have good reason to why I want to do it. I would rather be a little bit late than get in too soon. Because if it's not a trigger, it's a spot to sell it. So this is where you want to wait for the confirmation. So I don't have a reason to short it. And if it does, it's going to dip into support. So the one thing that's clear that it's developed the habit of finding support. So for it to lose this level would take a lot. So, hey, new person in the chat room. So it is a better long on a breakout than a short. So again, it all depends on how fast are you trading. And from a level perspective, if I'm in an investment, I'll be really happy when I see it take out that 17 area, because you can see I put one trigger, another trigger, but really the whole area. So let me zoom out to a daily. By the way, today is 420. How appropriate, right? Somebody brought it up. I didn't think about it. It's not on the forefront. Okay, so there we go. Now we have a little bit better things to talk about. This is a daily chart, which is what most people look at. And now we're looking at that same line, that green line. So if you look at it, this about halfway, if you want to, Fibonacci level, that's important. But if I look left, it's also important here. So it's kind of a significant place. So it's not a surprise that they're stalling, but it's not a hard line in the sand. I argue that there's another one here of this 50%. So it's a zone, is what I'm saying. However, some technical analysts will follow the breach with that being a zone as a hard line. And in that case, they could be looking at something. I know it doesn't look like it, a cup and handle, but to me, it's the action of it. What does that mean? When they come back to a neckline and they fail, and they come back to it again, but from better perspective, like look how much higher, how much less low, how more shallow the dip was. You know, this was a deep one. This was a half as deep, and they come back to the same neckline. If they're going to do it, they might take another try at it, and then do it, and then once they establish support, then they can continue on to wherever they want. How fast do they go? You know, the technicians will tell you about this much up. It's almost never like that. In one shot. So that level I mentioned earlier, I bet you they'll stall at it, 18 and change. I bet you this one will come into play too, because this is the point of control for that period of time. So this is mathematically where buyers and sellers love it the most by a long shot, this one. Okay, that's what the volume profile tells me. If you don't know what that is, hit me up. We'll do some privates. All right, so this is my opinion on it. Fundamentally, you do your homework. If I'm a seller of it, I'd be cautious and I would get out and stop myself out as soon as this triggers. If I'm looking to buy it and if I'm not long, I'll probably use one of these. Depends on how fast I'm trading. If I'm long, I'm happy at what I'm seeing here. Some maturity as far as setting a bottom of sorts, higher lows, higher highs, but still, battling that one neckline or a couple of necklines. This is one of them. So it all depends on your time frame. All right. I think this is enough information on this one. I'm not going to bother with the rest because this is the one that everybody's asking for right now. Nick signing out.